Hey, Prestley, how much did you made on your first wholesale deal, bro?
My first wholesale deal was about $5,600.
5,600 bucks. And where's the lead come from?
It came from a tax delinquent list that I Googled. I actually found the tax delinquent list on Google in some type of legal newspaper, a local newspaper like for lawyers. And they had a tax delinquent list in there. And it was actually the first person I called on that list was my first deal, believe it or
Boom!
not.
Boom! 5,600 bucks from tax delinquents. What up? What up? Wholesale 2 million family. Happy Monday. Hope you guys have a great weekend. But we're back with another subscriber first wholesale deal interview. Before I let Prestley takes over, I'm gonna be selfish and take a couple minutes here to talk to you guys. Those of you who don't know, I'm running a 2K web class. It's starting this July 28th, exclusively for the first 20 people that want to spend the whole entire day with me. It's a web class. You don't have to fly anywhere. You can be at the comfort of your own home. And the goal for us on that day is for me to take you from where you are to where you want to be, put the system together for you, unlock any unanswered questions, any hurdle, anything that is holding you back from getting you to where you want to be. Whether you're one man, one woman show, dude, I'm going to help you put a team in place, a system in place, and give you clear guidance. And so you can walk away with specifically an action plan so you know exactly what you need to do to take your life, your business to the next level. That is my goal on that day. And what we're going to do is we get to interact back and forth that way. So basically, exclusively of 20 people, but every single one of you will get your turn, to share with me kind of where you're at, what's your goal, where you want to get to. And I'm going to help you put a system together, sharing with you all the companies, all the tips, all the strategies, basically everything that I have learned the past 8 years, all the company that we use, whether you want to cold call, figure out a marketing plan for you. I don't care if you're new into this game. Maybe you have a few $100 or maybe you have a few $1,000 to market, but we're going to find the best strategies markets for the dollar amount that you have. I just need from you is a commitment, and that you got to stay commitment and determined and trust the game plan that we're going to come up with. And I promise you, if you stay consistent, the results will come. Whew. So if that's you, I'm talking to, shoot me an email over to Wholesale to Millions. It's $2,000 per person or per couple, or maybe you have a partner. I don't care, but it's $2,000, and it's on July 28th, which is this coming Sunday, man. If you want to spend a whole day with me, man, I'm gonna try to get you, man, unlock anything that's holding you back, put a game plan, a systems right together, a blueprint to get you so clear that you need to walk, so when you walk away from that web class, you know exactly what you need to do. That is my goal for that day. So anyways, no further ado, you guys put your thumbs together and help me welcome Prestley. What up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, Khang?
Dude, first of all, man, I want to say congrats, and do you mind sharing with everybody kind of where you're based out of?
Right now, I'm based out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Dude, Phoenix, Arizona, hot market, dude?
Tough market out here, very competitive. I spent the first few months trying to get a deal out in Phoenix. And, I was driving for dollars, and it seems like every house out here, the real estate investors, they jump on it. It's hard to find a house that's available out here that no one, a wholesaler or an investor hasn't already swooped on, or someone that's holding on to the property and doesn't want to let it go. So yeah, it's a tough market out here. It really is.
Yeah, man, because Phoenix, Arizona, man, there's a lot of big player in that area. Hey, now, how long did it took you? So when did you initially Prestley start?
It was like November, mid-November 2018?
Yeah.
Last year, 2018. I started around November-ish. And I know around mid-November, I was all the way in. I bought a phone, a burnout phone from Walmart. I was planning on buying some bandit signs, and I was all in. I got a White Pages account, $20 a month, so I could do the skip tracing.
Nice.
I was ready around November, and I think I ordered my bandit signs. I first started. I can even show you my first flyers.
Yeah, man, I want to see it.
These were my first flyers. They were
nice.
Black and white. I printed them on my laser printer. Then I finally made my own flyers like this. And, I just started small, passing out flyers, driving around for dollars, looking for deals. I was trying to do the tax link. I was still trying to figure out how the assessor sites worked. So, you know, for the first couple months, I was really just trying to grasp everything and watching the YouTube videos. And yeah, it just started coming together, you know?
Sure, man. Sure, man. Dude, everybody that gotten big started small. Everybody that gotten big, man, that started small. I mean, especially the people that are starting from the ground up, right? I'm not talking about the one that got the moment, the papa that hand them the money. I'm talking about from the bottom up, man. So everybody that gotten big starts somewhere. So the key is obviously you got to start. So, dude, Prestley, I mean, like, so it took you started, let's just say mid-November. You took massive actions, and then until you didn't close your first deal until July.
It didn't come until July.
Dude.
It was hard because some days I just didn't want to get out the bed. Like I was trying to push myself to go drive for dollars at least every day and put at least an hour, 2-3 hours. But some days out here in Phoenix, you can't find a house. You go down to some areas and you don't find any abandoned houses. Like the market is so hot, a house doesn't stay available for a long period of time. Like before someone gets involved, investor gets involved, or it gets sold. So I get discouraged, and it's so hot out here. Some days you don't want to leave and get in the. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm lazy, but you know, I've made money on the internet and I've made money from home. So going out driving for dollars every day, it was starting to feel like a job sometimes, and it was tough sometimes, and I'd have to push myself. But it was a slump. I went through a long slump, and luckily I had other things going on to where I had income coming in, to where, you know, I had money coming in, so I didn't give up. I just kept sticking with it. And around January, I started targeting some tax delinquent lists. I would watch your videos every day, and I was listening to how people were finding their deals, and tax delinquent kept coming up. It kept coming up. So I was doing the tax delinquents out here in Phoenix, and they actually have it on a map. If you go to the Accessor website out here, they have everyone whose house is tax delinquent in the whole city, in the whole county, and it's highlighted in green. So if you zoom in on a city block, you could just click on it and give the owner's address, and I'd look up their name and put it in the white pages, and I'd just try to cold call them. And most days, I wouldn't even get anybody on the phone. I'd be calling people all day, and somebody would pick up just to tell me, no, I don't want to sell. So it was tough, and it went like that. It went like that for months until I realized that I needed to maybe, you know, it's almost like sometimes we don't realize it's like right in our face, but we don't see it. So I started targeting other areas.
Prestley, man, Prestley, for some reason you froze, man.
A business together, but it never actually happened. So I told him about this wholesaling, and I told him, if you start driving for dollars, if you see some properties, write them down and send me the address. And then I got the Deal Machine app, and then I had added him as a team member. So he started sending me leads. And I started calling some of my friends in Ohio, because I used to live in Ohio. My mother's from Ohio. And I started working that market. And that's where my first deal came from, my mother's market, where, you know, a small town that I was like, oh, those houses are so cheap over there. I'm not going to, you know, I want to go get in Phoenix so I can make a big spread, you know?
Yeah, wait, Prestley. So your first wholesale deal was a virtual deal in Ohio, not in Phoenix, Arizona.
Never seen the house, never seen the seller, never seen the buyer, never seen the title agency.
Boom. Okay, you guys, listen. Extremely important. Listen to me. You hear people say this. Oh, yeah, you know what? There's plenty of fish out there. Yes. Even in a competitive market, you can still get a deal. But listen to me. If you're starting out with very small budget and you try to go in, basically you're the tiniest fish. You're like little Nemo, and you're in a you're in a big pond with some sharks, some whales, some bigger fish. Dude, it's going to be extremely hard for you to overcompete, to overcome it. Like, yes, you will get a deal, but it will take you like a long time to get your deal is because you're the smallest fish in the pond. Every house you send to, right, there are 3 to 5 or 4, 10 postcard letters, like investor hitting them up. So when Prestley bring this up, a lot of you, maybe you're doing everything you can already, but you're in a wrong market. Like people said, you know what? Yes, you can get a deal. I'm just telling you this. Believe me. We try. What we do is we now do 3 to 4 market virtually. We try a market out for 3 months. If we get no results, we're moving on. So a lot of times, what I'm telling you is that you are in a market that is so competitive, but you don't know that. And that's what we're going to do on Sunday at the 2K web class. I'm going to help you dissect your market and point you in the right direction. Is the market too competitive for you? We're going to analyze the new market, right? What we're going to do is I'm going to share with you some new market that you can get into that you're now not the smallest fish in the pond. Oh my gosh, my internet. So anyways, I'm going to keep talking. I think I'm having some
froze up for a second.
Okay. So for those of you, it's extremely important because a lot of times, listen, we also made this mistake when we first came in. We keep on pounding and hitting the market over and over again. And man, we spent so much money. And after like 6 months, we gave up on the market. We got one deal from that market. Yes, that one deal paid for it was a big deal. But the thing is that it just takes so much effort, so much time. So I'm telling you, sometimes you're doing all the right thing, but you're in the wrong market and you don't even know it. So, because I know, dude, Phoenix, Arizona, dude, there's some huge player in that area. Okay, so keep going, Prestley.
Okay, so I was this is a funny story how it happened. It was really funny. So I had actually found some situations in Phoenix, and they were big deals. My first situation, probably about a month in, was a $1.2 million. This guy wanted $1.2 million. He was behind like $10,000 in taxes, or $14,000. So I said, "Oh, this is a good one." So I look up the property, and the property sells like $700,000-800,000. So my eyes lit up, like, wow, this is my big hit. So come to find out, it was a whole apartment complex, and it was about 18 units. And it was like, wow, I went from not knowing anything about real estate to now I'm about to be in negotiations of a $1.2 million apartment complex. I mean, I felt like such a big shot. And I was like, wow, I'm going in the right direction with this. And I did some comps, and the property was probably worth about 1.7 to 2.3 probably on the high end. Based off of the area, I mean, I really did the comps. I did my research, and I was like, wow, I can probably put this up for 1.3 and make a quick 100,000. It seemed very real. So I was able to get the guy on the phone. He wanted to take a meeting. He was out of town. He got back in town. He said, "Yeah, we can meet." So here I am going to my first meeting with the seller, and he wasn't really that motivated. Come to find out, he was a structural engineer. I get to his office. He was a structural engineer. He had blueprints stacked up everywhere. So he just looked like a busy man. And after looking up his address, he lived in like some $1.3 million house. He was not strapped for cash at all. So here I am, didn't know much about wholesaling. Here I am, I talked to him. We're having a good conversation, and he's a cool guy. He's like, "Hey, I want 1.2 million. He was telling me about the property. He went half with his partner. Make a long story short, I ended up giving him I left him with the assignment agreement instead of the purchase and sell agreement. So I didn't know what I was doing. So, I'm coming to him like, "Yeah, I'm a big shot. I'm going to buy your property for 1.2. And he's looking at me like, "Look at this dude. This dude looks like he's some rapper or something, some hip hop guy." I think I dressed real nice, and I had some glasses on and looked like, like I don't wear glasses, but I put I call them my real estate glasses. So I had these fake glasses on. So I'm sitting there, and he's looking at me like, "Who is this guy?" So make a long story short, he tells me he's not. I end up telling him, this is the purchase sell agreement. That was a mistake. And he's like, I'm like, "Yeah, sign that." I put $100 earnest on it. Here I am, $100 earnest on a $1.2 million property. So he's like, "Listen, I'm not signing this unless you give me a $20,000 earnest." I was like, 20,000. I was like, "Come on, I'm taking a risk. I still haven't got a chance to look at the whole property. I don't know what type of repairs it needs. Basically, I just need you to sign that so I can get involved in the project. I don't want to spend my time on this until you sign. So he's like, all right, give me 10,000 earnest. So I'm like, man, I'm not about to, whether I had it or not, I wasn't about to give up 10,000 on a first deal. I didn't really know I didn't know about a title company. I didn't know about escrow. I thought I would have to give him the 10,000. I didn't know anything. So that deal ended up not going through, and I followed up with him, and he just wasn't about to budge. So I got really discouraged after that because I was really excited about that deal. And I was just like, wow, maybe this is like God sending me just this big blessing, this $100,000 blessing. And I got so hyped. I still have it on my wall right here. I had it on my wall. I see how you have your stuff on the wall. So I was trying to be like you. And I put the property blueprints on my wall. And I was just trying to focus my mind on this deal. And it didn't happen. And I really got discouraged. And that's when I started trying to work other markets. And I ended up pulling a tax delinquent list. And like I said, I found that guy from a Phoenix tax delinquent. So a few other situations happened like that in Phoenix, but I just couldn't get people to sign. I kept bumping into people who had money, and they weren't in a desperate situation to sell. They had properties, they were behind on the taxes, but they weren't in a financial situation where they had to rush and sell. So I started working my mother's hometown in Ohio. And first I started to try to get my friends to drive for dollars, but nobody was cooperating. Nobody would somebody would send me leads for like one day, and then they would just stop sending me leads. So I said, well, I'm going to have to probably work a list. So I ended up pulling a tax delinquent list off of Google search. And the first I know the areas. I know the area really well out there, more so than I know in Phoenix, because I've lived there and went to school out there. So I know, okay, this is the ghetto, and this is where the rich people live. So I was trying to find one in the rich area where the houses are 200, 3, 4, 5. So I end up clicking. They had the list broken down by the districts. So I clicked on the district where I knew the money was. And there was actually only 2 houses on that list because people are rich and they pay their taxes on time in that area. So it was funny because one of the people on the list, I knew them. It was actually my friend's dad.
What?
And he's a lawyer. He makes a lot of money. He has like a $300,000-$400,000 house. His grandmother was a millionaire. I know for a fact his dad probably just pays his taxes at the end of the year on some, So I wasn't about to call my guy and say, hey, I want to buy your house. I wasn't even about to install myself. But it was funny that I seen my friend's dad on there. But then there was another person on the list, which was this lady. Well, I don't know if I seen her name. Yeah, I seen her name, the parcel number, and the amount that was owed. So I seen she owed about $4,000 in taxes. And I'm like, okay, this looks like something. So I go to the assessor website, and I see that she owes about $4,000 in taxes. I skip trace her name, and I get her number. Call her up. She picks up the phone. Hey, how you doing? I'm interested in buying your house. I do about 2-3 deals in the area every month. I haven't done any deals, I'm interested in buying. Oh yeah? Well, she says, I'm not selling that house. I'm actually moving into it, but I have another house that I want to sell, the one that I just moved out of. So I said, okay, that's fine. Let me get the address. She gives me the address. I look it up. It's not as expensive of a house as the one that I was going after. That one was worth around $225,000. This house was about 50, 60 ARV. So I'm like, okay, 50, 60 ARV, that's cool. So I'm talking to her on the phone. I say, so anything wrong with the house? She says, it's in perfect condition. The house is great. So I got excited. I said, wow, this is really happening. I said, wow, I could probably give you $30,000 for the house. That was the biggest mistake I made. It was such a mistake when I said that because I thought the house was just finished. It was nice and I could get it for 30, sell it for 35. It's worth about 60. Hey, I can make a quick 5,000. So I ended up, she says to me, so now she's telling me she's willing to take an offer, But now I have to see the house. I have to get pictures of the house because I really have to see what this looks like. All I was going by was one picture on Zillow, and like the tree was in front of the house. So I couldn't even see the house. So I end up calling my mother because she lives in Akron and she's retired. And I told her, I said to the lady, so do you want to meet? I got somebody, maybe you could meet one of my partners at the property. I didn't have nobody. My mother didn't know what was going on. So I say, hey, can you meet us at the house or something? She says, well, can they meet me and just pick up the key? So I said, yeah, I can arrange that. So here I am in Phoenix, Arizona, about 2,000 miles away. I got the keys to this lady's house off a phone call. I was like, wow, this stuff works. So now I end up calling my mom. My mom ends up getting the keys. She goes by the house. My mom, make a long story short, my mom has a house that's after ARV. Her house is nice. She knows how much the cobblestones cost to put in the front yard. Like her house could be sold at top dollar. So she was probably the best person I could have got to go check out this house and get an estimate. So my mother goes over to the house and she calls me back and she says, I wouldn't pay this lady $1 for this house. I say, come on, Mom. Like, I'm coming from an investor standpoint. Don't think of it like we're about to move in this house. Think of it like we're going to buy this for $10,000 and sell it for $20,000. Like, what is it worth? She said, this house is a complete dump. I wouldn't pay $1 for it. She sent me the pictures and I understood what she was talking about, but it gave me an idea of what was going on, what the situation was. The house it needed a lot of work. So I called back the seller and I told her, listen, make a long story short, I offered her $5,000 for the house. I said, I could give you $5,000 for the house. She said, no, that was a long way from that $30,000 that I had offered her. So she was like, no, no. So I said $10,000. She was like, no. By now she had $30,000 in her head, and I could have said 25 and she would have said no. So I went up to around 15,000 and she still said no. And then at that point I realized it wasn't really a deal if I couldn't get it under 15,000. So I left it alone. So a month or two goes by. I'm driving for dollars. I'm still trying to buy absentee owner. I bought an absentee owner list off a list source. It was a bad zip code. The houses were real nice. People were renting them out or sitting on them. I didn't get no luck with that list. So I was getting discouraged, but I would text her occasionally. Happy Mother's Day. How you doing? You want to sell that house? No, I'll talk to you later. Memorial Day. Hey, happy Memorial Day. You want to sell that house? So months went by, 4 months went by. I ended up getting a deal under contract in Florida from my cousin driving for Dallas. But the deal didn't go through. The seller ended up getting pissed off. He wanted too much money for this house, and I couldn't find a buyer. A couple people called about it, but it needed more work than the guy told me, and I just couldn't find a buyer in time. And the guy ended up calling me back, and he cursed me out. He said I was a bullshitter. I'm wasting his time. He said, don't ever effing call me again. He hung up the phone. He said, lose my number. And I was just like, oh, man, because I was so excited about it. I was telling everybody about this deal I got in the contract. So that first deal in the contract didn't go through. So then I'm trying to speed the story up, but I want you to give an idea of what I had to go through. So a couple months go by. The seller in Ohio, she ends up texting me and she's like, oh, sorry, I haven't, been in contact with you, but we're going to work this out soon. I'll be in touch soon. So, I would text her. By now it's like 5 months. So now my texts are more, they're more, a little more direct. I'm like, hey, Kat, you may lose that house. Like, we need to deal with this before you lose this house because it's getting bad. You don't want to lose this house. You're going to wish you took that 5,000 when the city just, I wasn't saying all of that, but I was getting more direct with my text messages. Like, we really need to make a deal. I don't want you to lose out on it. So she, I started forgetting about it. It was in the back of my mind, but I started forgetting about it. Now it's 7 months. Now it's July. So I'm really not thinking about that. I'm coming up with new ways to find leads and I'm trying different things and I totally forgot about it. So it was about 8:30 a.m. I was going to the store, and I started to leave my real estate line at home. I started to leave it at home. I was getting discouraged, like, nobody's gonna call that phone. So I started to just leave it at home, but I was like, no, bring the phone with you. That call might come in. Sure enough, I get a call from the seller. Hey, how you doing? All right, I'm ready now. What can you give me for the house? By then, I was firm on what I could give her. I had did my research for months. I told her, I could give you 10 for the house. I could give you 10. She says, oh, come on.
Come on, man.
She said, come on. Come on. Shit. So then I told her, I said, all right, I'll pay the taxes too. She said, sold. I said, okay, I'll be back at my office in 15 minutes. I'll send you a DocuSign, sign it and send it back. And we're good. I got back home. She sent that DocuSign right back. I put that house on Facebook Marketplace. It was gone in an hour.
So wait, bro, Prestley. So you got under contract okay. So the offer was 10 and you say you offered to pay the taxes too. So what's the total comes to?
Well, the taxes were about $2,750. And if we didn't close on the day we closed, they were about to add another 10%. Okay. So it would have been another 300. It would have been about 13,000.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So let's say, just to round it up, let's say you got under contract for 13,000. Dude, if I pick up the phone and someone said, come on, man, shit, dude, I would quickly hang up the phone. I said, you know what? They watch too much of King Kong video. There's no way that I'm going to do. Okay, bro. Dude, I want to break down this deal before we go into how you found the buyer here. When you first talked to the seller, dude, I understand that you just mentioned you made a mistake because you're the one who mentioned the number. So you didn't even ask the seller what she wants for it.
No, I was just so hyped that she was talking to me. And I just wanted to take her word for it. I just wanted it to just work, you know? And I didn't know what I was doing. Sure,
man. The thing is, Prestley, everything you share with me, man, I've been through it. Working on a deal where I was like, oh my God, I was going to make, dude, when I first, I was going to make 100,000, 150, so pumped, it falls through. Another deal, it's like it gets your hope up. Somebody's like, yeah, I'm going to go out with you, bro. It gets your hope up. Oh man, here's my internet. I'm just going to keep on talking, but I think there's something wrong with my internet. It's like they got your hope up, and then all of a sudden, it's just like, it's like a letdown. It's like you got your hope up, and it's a letdown. And a lot of people will get discouraged. Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, it froze up for a second.
Yeah, so it's like someone say, hey, man, I'm going to go out with you, man. And then it's like they got your hope up, and then they crush you. And this happened to so many people that they felt like, hey, it's like they got up, they got the hype, and then they would just let go so many times. And some people give up after a couple times, especially going at it for 6 months, 7 months, seeing no results. And they're like, wow, you know what? This thing doesn't work. This thing doesn't work. So, and another thing that I want to point out on this too, that Prestley brought up, when you made an offer to the seller that is so low that they say, no, not going to work. If they continue to communicate with you on like a friendly base, not like blowing you off, saying, don't call me again, or like F off or something like that, listen to me. It's the key that they want, even though your offer was so low, listen to me, you guys, extremely important, all right? And I have gotten deal because of this, because I understand, it's through experience. When you made an offer so low and you keep on hitting the seller and the seller replied to you with a friendly, like, hey, you know what? I don't have time. Yeah, you know what, Prestley, it's too low. If you guys have a better offer, then let me know. If they continue communication with you, listen to me. It is a worm lead. They're trying to, you know what I mean? It's a worm lead. Like they don't want to ruin whatever they got going on with you because they felt like they felt like they can do something with you. They just don't want to ruin it. So keep on following up, you guys. Listen to me, all right? It's a worm lead, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Prestley, now so you talked to her, lock it up on a contract for $13K.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's talk about I want to know how many bedroom and bathroom this house is, man.
It was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It was a really small house, maybe
Uh,
800 square feet. It was a
okay.
small house. Yeah.
And what and with the picture that I guess your mom probably will send you some picture of the property.
Mhm.
What do you estimate the rehab would be, bro?
Well, these houses in this area, I was seeing houses selling for the so-called ARV without the stainless steel,
Right.
without the things that you may need to do in Phoenix to get the
Yep.
top dollar. It was just one of those areas where you could just do the minimum. As long
Yep.
as it was livable and it didn't look like a dump, you
Mm-hmm.
could sell it for 50, 60,000.
Right.
So I estimated maybe 10,000, 15 max. When my mother was giving her estimate, her house is nice. She puts the nicest stuff in the house. This was one of those houses you probably, if you could get it on Section 8, just do the bare minimum. So I was thinking around 10,000. That's why I figured if I could get it around 10,000 under contract, and an investor puts another, well, if I would have to sell it for around 15, 20. And then
Right.
if the investor could sell it put 10, that put them around 30 and leave around 20, maybe 30,000 for profit. So it was a tight squeeze. So I had to make it work for myself so that I could leave with something.
Right. Right.
So yeah, it was I think around 10,000. I estimated.
Right. Okay, now you guys listen. When you send a friend, a family member, not investor, an agent, when they call you and say, dude, this house is a tear down. This house is trash. This house, like, I wouldn't even buy it for $1. Dude, you should freaking be celebrating. You're like, yeah, man. Come on, man. I'm hitting gold, dude. And if your friend comes down and say, you know what I mean? The worse they talk about the house, this is going to be a killer deal. So don't get those words and get discouraged. Oh man, it's a tear. Okay, I can't make a deal, dude. That's when you get excited. Okay, for those of you starting out, you don't know, man. The worse it smells, the more money it's gonna make for you. Okay, so you estimate the rehab, and also too, you guys, for those of you got to understand what Prestley point out here is very important. You got to understand your market. In some area, you don't need the granite countertop stainless steel appliances. Even if you put in granite countertop stainless steel appliances, it's not going to go over whatever it is can sell for because nobody, you know what I mean? This is just an average neighborhood, right? It's probably what, Prestley, a C, a D? Well, what kind of neighborhood?
I'd say a C. It's not a D where it's like no one wants to live there, but it's a middle-class neighborhood. In that county, average people don't make a lot of money. And, there's the $150,000 houses where you're making a little more money. You may have a college degree, but it's 50, 60,000 for a middle class, low income house.
Gotcha. You guys, that's why you got to understand your market, all right? You need to understand your market so that way you know that, okay, because if you estimate to put in granite countertop stainless steel appliances on this property, a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 800 square feet, it's going to probably run you about 30 to 35 G's. Now, if you take that 30 to 35,000 minus from whatever the ARV is, well, you obviously have to get this property for like $1,000 or so. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. So if you do your calculation wrong because you don't know the market, guess what? You're going to be basically hitting your head at the wall, and you're not going to get any deal because you don't understand the market. All it takes is minimum work, just like Prestley said, which is 10 to 15. All right, bro. So now we got the rehab figured out. Okay, so you put it on Facebook Marketplace? For how much?
Well, my mom had actually said it's going to cost $30,000 to fix this house up, and I was not trying to hear what she was saying because I knew where she was coming from.
Sure.
And so I ended up. My mother went by there in the wintertime. This was January, so her pictures were like it was snow outside.
Okay.
So I needed to get some new pictures. And then I went to my phone after I got on the contract. I tried to go back to those pictures, but the iCloud link, me and my mother got an iPhone, so the iCloud link had expired with the photos. So I'm like, damn, I got to get some new photos of this house. So I got a 17-year-old son that lives in that town. And I called him up. I said, hey, I need some help on a real estate deal I'm working on. I'm going to send you an Uber. I need you to go take some pictures of the house and send them to me right now. So he said, okay. I said, I'll send you $100. I was about to send him 50, but that's my son. So I sent him $100. So I called him an Uber. He rode over there. He got pictures of the house. He sent them right back to me. And the house was really, it was gone. It was pretty much, once she signed that deal, the house was gone. You know, it was gone. It was like hotcakes. It sold like hotcakes. Like I put it on Facebook. I put it on Facebook. I put it on Craigslist. I put it on OfferUp. I put it on Let Go. And my phone started blowing up. I'm talking about this phone went from nothing.
Money.
0 to 100. I'm talking about this phone it was like a world record that day. This phone got phone call. It was amazing. I couldn't believe how many people were trying to get this house.
So wait, I'm sorry, bro, but how much did you send it out to the buyer for?
I put it out there for $19,999. So it looked great. It looked like a deal right under $20,000. I mean, in any market, if you could find a house for $20,000, that sounds good, because the bottom line is, you know, prices are going up in most places. And it's a good place. It's a good area. It's by Cleveland. It's by Canton, the Football Hall of Fame. I mean, it's a cool area. It's not a bad area. It's by a highway. I was optimistic about it. So I figured if I could put it at 20, under 20, it would be hot. And it sure was. You know, I put some pictures. I put about maybe 10 pictures on Facebook. Just the best pictures. I just put the best pictures. There was a couple pictures that didn't look good at all. My son took some. I'm like, why didn't you close the cabinet? Why you got to leave the cabinet swinging open? And like, you know, but I'll let him know next time. He'll learn as he goes. But I mean, if I was going to take the pictures, I probably would have brushed the trash over. So a couple pictures I didn't use, but the back door of the house was open. Someone had busted in the house or something. So I was able to run an open house right then and there, right on Facebook Marketplace. So it's a small enough town to where if you live it's like a 10-mile radius, 5-mile radius. So someone could be there. You could see an ad and you could be there in 10 minutes, literally, from the time you left your house. It's that type of town. So I put it up and there was an open house right then and there. I was telling them, everybody that was interested, I was telling them, hey, the back door is open. You can go over there and check it out if you want. Like, forget the pictures. Go see it for yourself. Yeah. So I had an open house going on, and a virtual open house. Because like I said, I was all the way in Phoenix. Right. I had people coming in and out that house that same hour I put it up. Like, the people that were serious, they drove right over to the house and went and checked it out. And one guy told me, he said, Dev, somebody was pulling out as I was pulling in. So within about a third person that went and checked it out, this guy's like, I want it. Okay. He's like, I want it. He's like, where do I drop the deposit? So now I'm like, oh shit, I could probably get 22, 23 for this. But then I'm like, no, let me close my first deal. Yeah. Let me get on Khang. Let me get on Khang's channel so I can say I closed my first deal. So I was like 20. I really probably could have got 25 for that house if I would.
Wait, Prestley, I think I think there's something wrong with the mic. Hey, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Okay, yep, I can hear you now.
Did you hear everything I said before that?
No.
Oh, I don't know where it cut off, but
where the buyer said, where's he gonna drop off the deposit?
Oh yeah, he said he wanted to drop off the deposit, and then at that point, I realized I could probably get 25,000 for the house, or 22 or 23. So I could have been greedy and just held him off, but he was serious. He was serious about it. He told me he would call me first thing in the morning with the cash ready, because I think it was a Sunday. I got the deal under contract on a Sunday, and I had a buyer that Sunday. So we couldn't do anything on Sunday. So he's like, I'm ready. Tell me which title company you're working with. I'm like, okay, I'll tell you which title company I'm working with. But I didn't know anything about a title company at this point, other than videos I would hear people talking about a title company. Yeah. So now here I am looking for a title company. I'm calling title companies and I'm trying to find one. And they're telling me, oh, I need insurance, title insurance. So I'm like, well, can I get it without title insurance? And then they're like, no, we sell title insurance. We don't deal with wholesalers. You know, the secretary, she's acting all mean. So then I finally get to one title company and the guy's cool. I'm like, you know anything about wholesale real estate? He's like, yeah. He sounded like he didn't really know what he was but he sounded kind of familiar with it, but he didn't. I was asking, do you know how to do a double close? And he was just like, yeah. He sounded unsure. So I was just like, fuck it. If he wants to take this along and I don't have to pay no extra insurance, then this is my guy. So I ended up sending him over the contract, and then by now, it was the next morning, and the guy called me first thing in the morning. He called. It's like 6 a.m. here. You know, I'm 3 hours behind the East Coast. He called me like 6 a.m., 6:30, like, hey, I'm going to the bank. Where do I drop? So I was like, okay, he's serious. I'm just gonna take. He's the buyer. I'm not gonna try to play him. And now it's 22,000. Now it's 20. Let me just close this. So he was ready to go to the bank, and that's when I found the title company. And then I told him, this is my title company. Go over there. He went and dropped that deposit that same day. So from Sunday to Monday, I had a deposit, and my deal was pretty much in closing. And then, so now I'm sitting at home on Monday, and then I had ran some ads. I ran I did some advertising. I did a little ad spin, and then some lady tags her friend under my ad, and then her friend calls me and says he has a house for sale in Pennsylvania. And I get that in the contract an hour later. And then the next day, that house sells the same way. And then the next day, I get a phone call from some lady who's seen one of my ads, and then she signed an hour later. And then that closed the next day. So from Sunday to Wednesday, I had 3 deals closed.
What? Wait, all in Ohio?
No, it was 2 in Ohio and 1 in Pennsylvania.
Okay, gotcha, bro. Dude, so any deal you got in Ohio, man, if I can hook you up with a buyer, bro. They buy like 100 house a year.
Bring them on.
That's for having connection, bro. So these guys are from CG, man. So they buy a lot of property. They're in they're based out of Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, I like Columbus.
Yeah, so anything in Ohio, bro. Dude, that's awesome, bro. So close that, and then all of a sudden it's like another one. You're like, oh snowball. Yeah, man, the 7-8 months is paying off.
Yeah, it just was a snowball effect. And then I was telling my brother about the real estate wholesaling, and then we're talking on FaceTime, and then I get 3 leads that came in back to back as we were talking. So he actually heard me negotiating 3 times within like an hour. Wow, it was the craziest thing. And then that's when he realized, wow, this is real. Because he kept saying, oh, you're not a real estate. You're not in the real estate business until you get a check. I was just like, all right, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. And sure enough, that check came. And now we're working as a team. Now me and my brother are working as a team again.
I love it, bro.
I love it, man. It's great, man.
Dude, I love it, bro. So now this is your younger brother or your older brother?
My older brother.
Okay, dude, I love it, man. I like, I don't get that in my family because everybody kind of do their separate things, but seeing like a family working at a team, dude, that's cool, bro. And being able just to, you know, it's like being able to get the non-believer to like, wow, dude, you like all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Yeah, bro, I'm right, bro. You know, that's awesome, dude. Hey, Prestley. Congrats, man. Congrats. And those of you, if you find any value in this video, man, I just asked 2 things from you. 1, if you find value in this video, show my guest some love. Boom. Pound that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification. And if you don't find any value, give it to me like it is, man. Smash the thumbs down and show me. And just let me know. Now, Prestley, here's what I want to ask you, man. Because I know that it took you a while to get this deal. It took me 6 months to get my first one. So, and I know that you mentioned there was time that you were going to give up. What keeps you, like, just be real, man. What keeps you keep going, bro?
Honestly, I felt like I could cry for a second when you were saying that because honestly, Khang, it was you. It was you were one of the main factors. Oh. Like seriously, like, and I could almost shed a tear because I wake up every day and I watch your videos. You know, I watch a lot of different real estate videos. I started out, I was watching that guy, Ben, he has that channel on Concrete. Ben, I can't remember his name, starts with an F. He's this big fat guy. and he does a lot of real estate deals. He does like apartment complex. So I was watching his web series, and then I was on the Max channel, the Max Maxwell channel, and I just felt like Max was kind of too advanced for me. Like I liked what Max was doing, but I was just like, damn, he's like 5-10 years in the game. He's kind of like a advanced teacher, and I want to come back to this when I get a little more knowledge, but I didn't know anything. So it was hard for me to like Max was flipping and property. He was just like, wow, he's like in college. He's doing college level. I'm still in kindergarten. I'm still in preschool. So I was looking for channels that had, the people that were saying the first time deals. How did you get your first deal? And I think your channel had the most testimonies from the first time deals. So I ended up, I loved your channel because it was so real. It was, I listened to your story, and I knew you were the real thing because it was like I just could pick up, this is real. This guy's real. I was seeing the checks you were posting. I remember one time I seen you post some crazy checks. And I was like, man, I'm sold on this. I just have to figure out how it's going to work for me. It's like, it's no one's situation is the same. How you're going to get your deal, the variables and the scenarios, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be similar as far as, but it's these little factors, and no one's is going to be the same. And you just have to keep grinding until it plays out for you, until it works. It's timing and consistency and patience, and just being able to weather through the storm, I guess, and I don't know, like a lot of days I just didn't want to get out the bed, and I felt discouraged, and I felt like it was never going to happen. And I didn't know when my deal was coming. I started making this web series. I made this web series to kind of push me to make it happen, because now I'm putting myself out there on this web series. And I'm telling people I'm going to get a deal. And I felt like an idiot, like, oh, damn, it was like episode 7. I still didn't have a deal. So I don't know. I just didn't give up. I knew it might take, even if it took a year, I was willing to wait for the type of checks I seen you getting. I was willing to wait for those type of checks. So I just kept pushing.
Bro, I love it, man. So basically you decided that you're going to do something so you can hold yourself accountable. And so now you're putting it out there. So you'll be like, man, I freaking better live up to my standard. Yeah. Otherwise, dude, if you love seeing check, man, I think it's this Friday or the following week. I'll show you another check, man. It's 75 G. So for those of you, if you want to see it, follow me on Instagram. I'll take you live where I actually pull the checks for you. And so, what Prestley just said right there, you guys. A lot of times you see people closing 30 days, in 60 days, in 90 days, in 6 months, in a year, over a year for their first wholesale deal. Like, because we all started at a different place in life. So don't compare yourself to somebody else. Like, oh, they did in 30 days. Man, and I am 6 months in, and I still haven't got my first deal. Listen to me. You don't know their backstory. You don't know that they have some money to spend on marketing. You don't know that they have been a realtor for the last 2 years, 3 years, so they know the market a little bit more. You don't know that.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you that we all start at a different place. So don't hear people's stories and then compare and then get discouraged. Dude, just play your game, man. Just play your game. And I promise you, if you are committed, and listen to me, if you are starting from the bottom, when you get into real estate, like you have no knowledge, listen to me, it's going to take time. But if you stick with it, it's a matter of when, not will it, when. It's all a matter of time, man. And time is what kills people. It what breaks people as well. What makes people and what breaks people. Success don't happen overnight. It happen over time. But time also kills people because it takes so long for them to see the results. And why most people give up? Because they don't see progress. When you don't see progress, like when you go to the gym and you diet and you pump and you do everything you can, and you see no results, you get on the scale, like 6 months in, you drop like 1 pound or 2 pounds. It gets discouraging. I'm telling you, but you have to stick with it, and you have to have the faith and the belief, knowing that you're doing the right thing, you're on the right track, that this will happen for you as long as you don't give up. And you hear people say that all the time. It is true. listen to me. It doesn't matter how slow you go. You just got to keep going. When you don't reach the finish line or cross the finish line is when you stop going. Like, I don't care how tall the mountain is. I don't care how long the road is. But listen, if you take a step every single day, you tell me, you don't think you ever get to the finish line? You will. It's just going to take you time. Some of us start out in life, like some of us going to go at this. Some of us crawl, some of us walk, some of us jog, and some of us will run. Okay? So which means you see the people that gets there a lot quicker, you just got to understand their backstory is a little bit different.
Yeah.
You only have a few $100s to market, or maybe you don't even have money to market. You're out driving for $1. You have a full-time job. Maybe the other person are spending 8 hours, 10 hours a day grinding because they have some savings set up. So they didn't have a full-time job. They can focus on this full-time. So you don't know their backstory. So stop comparing and then get discouraged. All right, you guys? So those of you who haven't got your first deal, listen to me, man. Stick with it. I love to get you onto the channel for you to share the stories. And for me to bring people on like this is, dude, I remember the day, man, that I'm grinding and I walk around the neighborhood 6 months in, 5 months in, man. I'm just like you, bro. There's a day where I wake up and I say, man, like my wife and I made a commitment. We knew we're not going to give up, but listen to me, man. It gets discouraging. Days where you feel like, God, nothing's going to happen today. Like, I'm going to do the same thing again. Nothing's going to happen. I walk around every neighborhood, man, every night. I pray to God that please just show me the way. Let me do that first deal. So to turn the fantasy into reality, and I go, boom. So I'm telling you, like you got to push through all the obstacle, man. Just don't let anything hold you back. Now, Prestley, dude, for those that okay, man. I mean, let's wrap it up, dude. How do people connect with you, bro?
I'm on everything.
Okay, let's go.
Prestley Snipes on everything. I got a YouTube channel.
Love
Prestley
it.
Snipes, Prestleysnipes. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all Prestley Snipes. I mean, you can look me up. I'm easy to find. I got a web series called Making Money with Prestley Snipes, where I actually show you what I had to do. And
I like that.
I show myself posting bandit signs. I show myself cold calling. I show everything that I went through from the day I started to the day I got the check. And I want to, hopefully I can link up with you someday and you could be on the series if it permits. And yeah, I mean, reach out to me. I'm happy to share information. I also wrote a book about the music business. I had some success in that business. So
oh, wow.
I make videos talking about the music business on my YouTube channel. So, I mean, hit me up whenever. Anybody feel free to reach out to me, man. Like, I love talking real estate now. It's been opening so many doors. Everywhere I go, I start talking to someone. This lady I was talking to yesterday, she's into mortgages. And she tells me how people call her. She says, I was telling her about the wholesale business. She says, yeah, people call me all the time. Yeah, I'm not surprised people will sell that for low. When people are in situations, you'd be surprised how low they sell their properties for.
Money.
And I'm like, wow, you're like a plug. Like, you get people calling you at your job for that. You get leads calling you under foreclosures. I said, oh, we need to connect. So everywhere I go, it's been connecting me with people from all walks of life. You know, I grew up in the whole hip hop culture, but now I'm speaking to people from different cultures because we're talking about real estate. Like, now my conversation isn't just hip hop and music. It's real estate, and it's such a universal conversation. And I love it. I love the business. I love it. I love this business. And anybody that wants to reach out to me, feel free. I'm an open book. You can read my book. And hopefully I could make a book about real estate someday when I'm at Khang level. You know?
So you get there soon, man. So Prestley, man, once again, man, congrats. I'll make sure that I put all the link. Well, obviously just Prestley Snipes. I'll make sure I'll put, Facebook, YouTube. You guys can hit him up, Instagram. That's why I do this channel. So you guys can reach out, connect with each other. And do deals with each other. For example, the deal that the seller blew up on Prestley. Maybe Prestley can send that to someone, and maybe you can call and work that deal, right? Now he's mad at this company, not your company, etc. You guys. So anyways, we're going to wrap it up, man. And those of you, I know that Prestley mentioned a number when he talked to the seller. If you guys are having trouble, another money.
That $1.2 million deal. Somebody who I was doing oh no, he just texted me. He's just asked me. I did a JV with the real estate agent. Yeah? He just texted me out the blue and asked me any deals. So I got excited. I said, oh.
Yeah, man. I know exactly how you feel, man. So those of you who are having trouble talking to seller, negotiating, like you don't know how to negotiate, you know how to communicate, dude, check out my King Kong seller script. I promise you, dude. It will take your game, your business to the next level. I'll show you. Do not mention the number. I'll show you when you talk to the seller, how to get the seller to drop price, how to get seller to mention the numbers, whether the mortgage, everything like that. I'll walk you through exactly how to control the phone call, how to dominate, how to crush it, how to lock property up on the contract. So if that's you, check out my King Kong seller script. Link is in the descriptions. $4.95 for those of you ready, committed. I'll take your game to the next level. Prestley, once again, man, thank you so much, man. Such an honor to have you on the show, man, to share the story. Those of you if you recently just closed your first, those of you who recently closed your first wholesale deal, dude, I'm pumped for you, man. Shoot me an email over to wholesale2millions@gmail.com. Show me the money, which means show me the picture of the checks. I love to get you onto the channel. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, hit me up on IG. I'll take you live. I think it's either this Friday or next week. We're going to go pick up that check together. Go to Khang, Khang, WTM, and listen to me, man. It's going to happen for you. And the day that it's going to happen for you, you will pick up some small checks and there will be some big checks. And one big checks, man, can change the course of your life. Prestley, thank you so much, bro. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Have a great rest of your day, bro.
Thanks, man. You too.